Good afternoon, sir. My name is Desiree, and I'm here to have a presentation on my hospitality and tourism law assignment. First of all, I'd like to give you a brief about the whole case study. So the whole case study is about Lim and Danny, who are good friends, and they would love to venture into a business together, by starting off with a budget hotel. But they are not really very sure as to the best form of business entity that they should use. Either they should both go for a company or a partnership. So, in introduction, according to Section 3, Clause 1 of the Partnership Act 1961, it defines partnership as a relation which subsists between persons carrying on businesses in common view of profits. While Section 20 of Company Act defines a company as an incorporated company and a corporate body that which is recognized by the law and have its separate legal entity. Well, there are many types of company. We have the limited liability company, and the unlimited liability company. We also have public listed company, and also we have company limited by guarantee, company limited by shares. Partnership versus company. So, under the business entity, partnership involves a relationship between two or more individuals who come together to run a business and share the profits and responsibility, while a company is a voluntary association of people which is a registered body and is formed for a common purpose. Governing Act. The registration of a partnership under the Act is not mandatory and can be based on partnership deed, which is easy to form, while a company needs to register itself mandatorily under the Companies Act with the Registrar of Companies. Management. In partnership, the management of the firm lies in the hands of the partners, whilst in company, all the shareholders of the company chooses their own management. Legal position. A partnership does not have a legal identity that is separate from its members, while a company is a corporate body which on its own separate identity from its members. So, and liability. When it comes to liability in partnership, the members have the unlimited liability, and they are all liable for all the debts of the partnership firm. In company, the shareholders have limited liability and they are not liable for the act of the company. Contract. A partner within a firm cannot enter into a contract with the same firm, while the member of a company can enter into a contract with the same company. The number of members. In partnership, the minimum number of members is 2, and the limit is 10 members for the banking sector and 20 members from the non-banking sector. While in company, the maximum number of members allowed is 20 members. Decision making. In partnership firm, quick decisions are possible, while in the case of companies, all decisions, like most important issues, requires a long time. Capital formation. A partner does not let a person with limited resources be part of the capital formation and does not take part in the partnership too as well. While in company, however, even people with limited resources can become a shareholder of a big company. Dissolution. In partnership, the firm can be dissolved with the consent of partners, while a company, legal procedures are required for winding up the company or for going ahead with liquidation, as the case may be. Transfers of shares. Shares of a company are freely transferable unless restricted by the articles, but then the partnership, but the partner cannot transfer his share without the consent of all its partners. So which of these should they choose? For me, I think they should go in for the company. Why? Because when you have a company and your company is indebted, your company will be sued, not you, the individual. So which makes a company more beneficial to partnership. Like in the case of Solomon and Solomon. Well, Solomon was a sole proprietor who used to make shoes. And as the business began to grow, he decided to sell it to a company. So when he sold it to a company, it got to a time that the company became indebted. So the creditors of Solomon sued him and took him to court. And Solomon's lawyer argued and said that Solomon's lawyer argued that the company and him, Solomon, are two different entities. So therefore, for the first time in history, the courts adjudged that yes, the company is actually different from the individual or the members. So because of this, it helped a lot. It was very favorable for people, and they started entering into business knowing that even when your company is indebted, you, the member, is free because it is your company that will be sued, not you, the person. So that question 2. Although the concept of separate legal entity prevents owners of the company for being liable, there are some exceptions of this concept by which the courts will lift the veil of incorporation and hold the owner of the company liable, and the owners of a company can be held liable for the debt of the company. Statutory exceptions. Section 36 of the Company Act. This is where if any time the number of members of a company is reduced below 2 and it carries on a business for more than 6 months. Section 37 of the Company Act. A person who is running a company could be held liable to the company if he breaches the law. Statutory exemptions. So first of all, the Section 36 of the Company Act, this is where if any time the number of members of the company is reduced below 2 and it carries on a business for more than 6 months. Second is the Section 37 of the Company Act. A person who is running a company can be held liable if the company breaches the law and prohibits the company from buying its own shares. Section 121, Clause 2 of the Company Act. Officers of the company are required to use the company's name as is stated in the registrations. Section 303, Clause 3 and Section 304, Clause 2 of the Company Act provides the situation where directors could be held liable for the fraudulent trading and wrongful trading. Section 305 of the Company Act provides for the liability of promoters who retain the company's money. The common law exemptions. So where a company is purely established for the purpose of committing fraud, then the courts are more willing to lift the veil of incorporation and hold those behind such company liable. When a company is used by a person to carry out an act that he himself is prohibited from doing, Jones and Lipman, even if every company is registered as a separate legal entity, there are some situations where the group is recognized as a separate legal entity. There are some situations with the group. Common law exemptions. Where a company is purely established for the purpose of committing fraud, then the courts are willing to lift the veil of incorporation and hold those behind such company liable. When a company is used by a person to carry out an act that he himself is prohibited from doing, Jones and Lipman. Even if every company is recognized as a separate legal entity, there are some situations where a group of companies may be seen as one. DHN Food Distribution Limited and London Borough of Tower Ham. Public policy. This is based on the case of Daimler Co. and Continental and Rubber Co. Conclusion. So in conclusion, I would like to advise Lim and Danny that they should go in for the company, because the company has they are backed by the law. So in case of anything, the law will deal with it. For example, when they are indebted, they will be separated from the company. So I would like them to enter into a company rather than a partnership, because we've all seen about the benefits of both sides of the company and the partnership. So I would suggest they should go in for a company. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.